In this episode, we capture some of my best travel photography of the season, shot and edited a full pre-game video during shootaround, and documented every moment from practice through tip-off for multiple elevations across the arena. And the wild part is that almost every photo in this episode was edited using my brand new Frizzy Pack Volume 1 preset pack, which is available on my website. So let's head to Cali. What's up, everybody? Jaron Fritz, aka FrizzyVisuals. I'm a creative director for Colorado State Athletics with multiple years of professional sports and photography experience. And today, we are leaving Fort Collins and heading to San Diego for a road battle against the Aztecs of San Diego State. And like I mentioned in the intro, we have a lot happening on this trip: video work, interviews, and later I will break down how I'm using my preset pack throughout this entire workflow. So without further ado, let's head to the airport. We are flying private today, which means no bus photos, just straight tarmac mogging. And the second we pulled up and I saw the plane, I knew we had something tough to work with. For travel shots, I pretty much live on the 35mm G Master since it nails the look I love, but maybe one day I'll switch it up. In that day is not today, because the first frame ended up being one of my favorite travel shots with strong body positioning, the sun peeking behind the plane, and that massive wing sitting perfectly in the background. It works in color and black and white, and catching the full walk-up tells me this trip is going to be a good one. Something I've been making a bigger effort to do is diversify my travel galleries by capturing more group moments. By widening out and grabbing group frames, it adds variety and helps tell the story of the trip a lot better. But you know I will always chase those hero frames, so there is no way I'm fully letting those go. And of course, Augie had to flex the reading materials on us. After a successful stretch of travel shots, we boarded the jet and headed for San Diego. Coaches were locked into film while I was editing photos, and honestly, one of the best parts of private travel might just be the snacks. I mean, can you ever go wrong with purple Skittles? We watched the sun set from the air and landed in San Diego with a good view of the city. As I was looking out at the city skyline, it hit me that we have actually been traveling with the man who owns it this entire time.
This is my city. And then we gotta win. Now we gotta win.
After explaining to Parker that Monopoly property cards are not exactly a tangible currency, we loaded up the bus and rolled through the streets of San Diego in the dark on the way to the stadium. We have a few objectives during shoot-arounds on this trip. First priority is always getting strong photos. Second is knocking out a Rams live interview with Coach Dave. And third is experimenting with some video work. But tonight, we are mainly focused on checking off those first two boxes. So as we stepped inside Vejas Arena, it was time to focus on priority number one, cooking up some photos. On travel trips this year with Coach Ali, that first shoot around is usually super light since the team has already practiced earlier in the morning, so it is mostly play installs and casual shots just getting comfortable in the gym, which means there is not always a ton of live action to capture, and I tend to lean more into solo player moments. Another reason I am not firing off a ton of photos during the shoot-around is because I'm always grabbing B-roll of whoever I'm interviewing later. And today, that happens to be Coach Dave, so let's roll the tape. Welcome back to Rams Live. I'm joined by Colorado State men's basketball assistant coach Dave Pilipovich. Coach, you are a veteran of this league. What is it like playing in a place like San Diego State?
You know, it's one of the great venues we have in our conference, and along with Moby and the Pit and some other venues, but this is it's a great place, and obviously the winning tradition they have here. It's an honor to come out here and play them.
And Coach, you are a big part of the offense here at Colorado State. What are some keys to the game that we can see tonight?
You know, tonight they're going to press as soon as we get off the bus and come through the doors. So they'll extend the pressure full court, and then in the half court they'll extend it as well. Get up in passing lanes, pressure on the ball, probably switch a lot of things. So just having our composure, our experience versus press, because we've had that last couple games, and just get into a good flow offensively, not let them rattle us.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Make sure to tune into Colorado State versus San Diego State, 8:30 p.m. FS1. With shoot-around wrapped and Coach Dave dropping some gems, it was time to hop back on the bus and start editing and uploading photos while we rolled out to dinner. We set up shop at Novo, Brazil, and I locked in my usual chicken Alfredo order, which at this point is basically the lifeblood of FrizzyVisuals as a whole. After watching some hoop, we made our way back to the hotel and I headed up to my room on the 14th floor, where I usually take a quiet moment to look over whatever city we happen to be in that day and reflect as my day 1 came to a close and we shifted our focus into game day. Once morning rolled around, it was time to pack up, head downstairs for breakfast, and watch a little San Diego State film. And as a breakfast enthusiast, I never miss a team buffet because it's always just a solid move. After cutting up some tape, we headed over to Shootaround where Parker laid out our game plan.
We shower together and then we take a walk.
A generous offer from the King of San Diego, but I had to decline since this Shootaround was all about shooting some video. So as we headed back to Vejas Arena, I was already plotting with the Sony ZV-1 in hand, ready to grab some clean clips for our social, keeping the concept super simple and focus on capturing a few cinematic slow motion moments that add texture and spice up to the timeline. I had the behind the scenes cam rolling the entire time, so these are a few frames from the GoPro angle, see if you can spot them in the final edit. And with that, let's jump into the video. And there you go, my first real sports video in like 4 years has been shot and completed with a 30-minute turnaround time. If I was fully locking in, I would have used a shot list or color graded in DaVinci, but this was a pure run and gun and it still delivered exactly what we needed. Let me know down in the comments if you think I should shoot more videos. And shooting that video was not the only thing on the checklist. I still made sure to lock in a few photos as well, so here are a couple frames just for proof that I'm not pretending to work. All the shots in the video so far have been edited using my Frizzy Pack Volume 1 preset pack, so make sure to go check that out too. After a successful late morning shoot around, we headed back to the hotel to eat some Alfredo, which we're always excited about. I was also excited to try out this little fella right here. I had the Godox V30 flash ready to break out in the tunnel as the squad walked in, and since San Diego State has a really solid tunnel setup, I figured this was the perfect trip to start adding that look to the bag. My biggest tip for tunnel shots off the bus, outside of camera settings, is simple: be the first one off. The second that bus pulls up, I turn into an old lady on a plane and hustle to the front so I can beat everyone inside and be ready when the team walks in. When we walk in off the bus, everyone is in a group, so I do the best I can to isolate the players as they come. The downside of doing this on the road is most of the time guys are walking in with shoes, laundry, and team gear instead of a full tunnel fit, so the aesthetic is just a little bit different. However, I do love this shot of JoJo I snagged that my BTS camera simply did not want to record for me. Now that we locked in a few tunnel flicks, it was time to step out onto the main court and scout the scene. And I have to give them credit because this is a really clean looking arena. One thing I also specially packed for this trip was an 11mm fisheye manual focus f2.8 lens because I wanted to add a little variety to the gallery, and the run out tunnel felt like a perfect place to experiment with that perspective. And I'm very glad that I did. Now, I only ended up saving 2 frames from the 11mm after spraying and praying, but I really liked how both of them turned out. But that's enough fisheye funny business. We're headed back to the White Mamba. I love focusing on moments in between moments, like this portrait of JoJo. And Brandon's ball handling routine definitely qualifies as that too. With Vejas Arena lighting looking this clean, I had to break out the PrismLens FX starburst filter and grab some artistic frames to finish the warm-up strong. Make sure to use code FRIZZY at checkout for 15% off. And if you frequent the channel, you know I gotta get my dogs right with some pre-game bunnies. If you want to get a sense of how packed this place got, here's a shot of what looks like a time-traveling Aztec warrior with about 30 minutes on the clock. And then here is the crowd right before the national anthem when things really started filling in. Yeah, it's gonna be a loud one tonight. Nonetheless, had to get a couple starting 5 frames. When the home team is running through their intro sequence, that is usually the time I'm quietly plotting my first half shot list. And with the lighting in this gym looking so good, I wanted to lean into some long range action shots since I could push my shutter a little bit higher than usual. So once intro's wrapped, I grabbed a few frames on the 35 and then switched over to the glorious White Mamba. I absolutely love being able to freeze some action frames without having to blast my ISO. The lighting was also so perfect for these half-turn 9 frames. I love the framing on this shot of Brandon. Not a ton of branding in terms of a ton of logos or words, just him sitting at the table with a dark ascending background. Something that I have been trying to focus more on this season is changing up my elevation. So after I got some safe shots uploaded, I climbed the bleachers to get a higher perspective. I really liked the concept of this shot, but the ref was, of course, in the way. So I threw on an oxygen mask and started hiking towards the top of the stadium to see what I could get. And look, here is the honest truth. This was one of the first frames I grabbed from up there, and the second I saw how it turned out, I knew I probably wasn't going to top it anytime soon, so I wrapped it up and headed back down to the court to see what else I could snag as time was winding down in the first. A lot of my first half frames looked pretty similar, and for the sake of this video, I will just summarize it that way because I was really looking to take advantage of the clean lighting and higher shutter speed, so it was the same type of action moments repeated across different players. In the second half, I wanted to lean more into detailed portraits, whether that was in timeouts, huddles, or on the court, but right out of the gate, I still grabbed a few action frames that I really liked before shifting focus completely. While not a typical keeper, the airborne detail adds visual interest to the frame. After I snagged the shot of Josh, I knew it was time to lock in, so the next time out I took my opportunity and started circling the huddle like a one-man pack of wolves. JoJo is just such an easy capture. Although these two are very simple, I liked how they turned out a lot. Alright, we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna roll a 3-second clip and I want you to guess exactly where the freeze frame photo happens. You ready? Alright, watch closely. This is real speed, and now this is half speed. Have you seen anything yet? After watching that clip at both speeds, would you have guessed that the frame that I pulled was this? Yeah. Me neither, but sometimes you just take a weird accidental photo that turns into a shot of the day contender. I have no other real explanation. Since I strayed away from the wide angle this game, I decided to throw the 35mm back on to catch some shots of both our bench and some action. We unfortunately took the L in San Diego, but there is always Get Back on the schedule, with them coming to Moby for Orange House soon. And as far as content goes, this was a pretty typical road output with photos, interviews, video, and anything else I can create to push the team in the positive direction. If you learned something from this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we are the fastest growing sports creative channel on all of YouTube. And be sure to check out FrizzyVisuals.com where you can grab presets, sign up for mentorships, and cop some limited time hat drops before they're all gone. Until next time.